Good morning and thank God it's Monday. So I hope you had a beautiful and great weekend. It was nice here in Tallahassee. Today is a gorgeous, perfect day. We're ready to get this weekend started off because Monday's the day we get to build our dreams and become the people we want to become. All right, so straight on to E.T. I know I've told you before, but you got to go check this out. He is just so full of truth. He's full of passion, full of drive, and it reminds me daily the activities and habits that I've got to consistently do every single day to become the person I want to be. All right, and that's what separates us. You know, people that are successful and not. It's not that they're smarter, faster, stronger, luckier than we are. It's just that daily they consistently practice the same habits over and over and over again. It's called the compound effect. A guy named Darren Hardy wrote a book called The Compound Effect. Go check it out. You can get it for like $6 on Audible. Listen to it. It opens your eyes. We're all making decisions and every single day that form our habits and form our life. All right, are they compounding effect for good or for negative? So on to today's video or message. For the next 4 videos, E.T.'s going to talk to us about being the right person. So far this season, in season 3, he's talked about being in the right place, mentally and physically. But now, these next four, this is where transformation happens. This is where change happens. So I get really excited about this stuff because this is becoming the right person, all right? Being the right person who you need to be. So, number 1, his first principle today was be the person you want to attract, all right? So if you're a 5, you're not going to attract 10s, all right? If I'm not healthy, I'm not going to attract a bunch of healthy people around me. If I'm not very financially well off, I'm not going to attract a bunch of people that are financially well off. If I'm just a depressed person, I'm not going to attract happy people around me. All right, so if I want to become those, if I'm a 5, I need to seek out 10s. I'm going to have to be them so I can learn how to become that. I'm going to have to read. I'm going to have to listen. I'm going to have to write. I'm going to have to do what they're doing and say, hey, how do you do this? Get into the Word of God. Pray. I'm going to have to do things that change my mindset to make me a 10. And when I get to that 10, then I need to look around and say, hey, if I'm the 10 in the room, if I'm the one that's leading, I need to go to a different environment now. Like, you're always going to have people that you're mentoring and you're pouring into, but you've always got to have people too that are pulling you up, that are growing you and stretching you. And so maybe you're a 5 again, and you strive to be that 10. It's always an ongoing process. It never stops. And number 2 is practice what I preach. And this one's key, right? It's one thing to talk about who we want to be and say, I want to do this and I want to do that. I want to have this and I want to have that. But it's a whole other thing doing it. And first of all, when we don't practice what we preach, we tear ourselves down, right? Because we're lying to ourselves. On top of that, though, nobody else ever takes us serious because you talk about this big game and say, hey, this and this and this, or we go around, I know I'm really guilty of being very judgmental, going around saying you shouldn't do this and you shouldn't do that. But what am I doing? Are my actions saying that? Like, if I would quit worrying about everybody else and just focus on what I need to be doing, that's how I change, and that's how I can help other people change too. All right? So we've got to become the person we want to attract, and we've got to practice what we are preaching. All right? And this is a really hard one to do because at the end of the day, I know for about 10, 15 years of my life, I just pretty much completely became lost. I wandered off. And yeah, my goal was to have fun, basically. But from the time I left high school all the way up to about a year or 2 ago, my goal in life was just to have fun. I went around drinking and partying and having sex all the way, just doing a lot of things that were just fun. Those things that, I'm just going to have fun. I'm just going to have fun. And, it tore me down over time, and it wore me down. And I became so lost, I had just settled in life. I was like, man, this is not what I thought life was supposed to be. And I'm not telling you this to judge people that are living that lifestyle. Like, I lived it, all right? I get it. I understand it. First of all, there are things about it that are very appealing, attractive, and fun. It is a fun lifestyle. But there are also very destructive things of it, too. And for me, that's just not who I believed I was. That's not what I believed in. Those were not my values, my priorities. That's not what was on the inside of me. So I was trying to live a life that I wasn't. I was living up to other people's standards, other people's values and priorities, and what they thought about me instead of who I thought. And I needed to have the strength to stand up and say, hey, you know what? That's just not who I am. I don't need that. I don't need to do that because it doesn't align with my goals, my priorities, who I want to become in life, and my purpose. All right, so that's what success is, all right? Being able to say no and stand up, own your identity, own yourself, and say, hey, this is who I am, and it doesn't matter what anybody else says about it. I know who I am. I know who I am in the Father. I know who created me, and I know this is the way I'm supposed to live my life. So it's not easy. It's going to be pain. There's going to be persecution. There's going to be struggle, but there's no progress without struggle. So remember this. E.T., I love this guy. He always leaves us with this. It doesn't matter what happened in your past, all right? It doesn't matter how bad I've screwed up, the things I've done. Like I said, I just shared a little bit of mine with you. Like, I've wandered around a lot. I made a lot of bad decisions, wasted a lot of money and a lot of time, and hurt a lot of people. And it doesn't matter at the end of the day. I'm sorry that I did that. But I have an opportunity to make the rest of my life the best of my life every single moment and every single day going forward. And I hope you do the same. So I love you. Have a great day. Make this a great week. And thank God it is Monday.